Thanks a lot for coming out, and thanks a lot for being here. Every year, we try to do something different with this, to make it easy on the eye, to make sure that you read it from cover to cover, because we know you don't. This year, I've slipped a competition in it. That is to ensure you read it from cover to cover, and you might not find it unless you actually look very, very closely. In making it easy on the eye, you will see that we've done it somewhat different to the last couple of years. Serena spoke about the recent report that came out from the Equality and Human Rights Commission. Another report that came out was about a plan for tackling hate crime. And in that, which is from the Home Office, in that plan for tackling hate crime, there was a recognition that we must work with race equality councils across the country, where we still exist, to ensure that we are being consistent. Now, that report was actually saying that we also must not work in silos, which is what I find a lot of the public sector bodies and some voluntary sector organisations do, work in silos. One of the things about the Race Equality Centre is we try to cover the whole. We cannot work with a part of an individual. We cannot work with a part of a community. And so we try, if we're given a contract to do a piece of work, we also, sometimes to our own to our detriment, take it one stage further. One of the things that Surinder also said was the changes that has not been made over the past 51 years now, since the first legislation. We have had changes like community relations, equal opportunities. The most recent one is on conscious bias. Unconscious bias. The Race Equality Centre is here to champion racial justice. And that's what we do, because the bottom line is racism is still out there, and we still need to actually challenge it where it does exist. We make no apologies for that. The unfortunate thing is, as a consequence of the fact that we will work on the issues that some people are uncomfortable with, individuals will see us as the other and will find it uncomfortable to work with us. We don't strive to make enemies. We strive to be a sensible stakeholder in this city to make the city better for all of us. I'm going to take you through the report, then you might see where the competition is. Our starting position is that from April of 2015 to March of 2016, we've had a footfall of 3,264 people come through our doors. Now, recognizing the organisation is so relatively small, and with the small amount of resources that we currently have, which Sukinder's alluded to, it nonetheless allowed us to work with 53 individuals on race discrimination casework. 1,746 individuals in terms of integration and resettlement work, and significant to this city, as a result of that work that was undertaken, we brought in £1.6 million in benefit. Now, there's a realisation that that money is going to be spent here, and there's a realisation if we didn't do that work, that money won't be here. One of the things, though, is you can't publicise that too greatly, because others out there will think if they're taking it, then we're not having it. So you have to be very balanced about how you publicise such a fundamental amount of money, £1.6 million being brought into this city. We have, as a result of resources from Lloyds Bank Foundation, we were able to actually get together with a company called Montgomery Masters and put together a decent business plan. That business plan is as a result of the executive, our members, volunteers and staff working on Saturdays, yes we do, We work on Saturdays. In fact, I was here last Sunday. So that this business plan could be complete. As a part of that business plan, we realized that we need to put strategic aims together, but that to make it meaningful, we needed to also have some milestones. Those milestones are reported to every month that there's an executive committee, and I thought it best to share it, or I thought it was a good idea, to share with the audience, and so I put the KPIs. So you have the KPIs on page 5 and 6, and we are going to be adding to them because these things are organic. So environmental considerations, for example, is going to be added to this year's, or is being added to this year's KPIs. As you'll see, we actually have achieved, not all, but most of the milestones that were set. Also, we felt that if we're going to be putting monitoring details in, specifically around the work that's been done by the integration team, we needed to do a comparison. So we did it for last year and this year. And so on page 7, you'll see that we have physically demonstrated how many individuals we worked with by this year as well as last year. And you'll see also the majority of the individuals we have worked with between the ages of 25 and 49, and a significant number of them are men. Invariably young unaccompanied men or young single men, which therefore brings an issue in relation to housing, because that's not a priority for the local authority. And so we have individuals who have gained status in one way or another, and unfortunately we then have to be striving to get them into accommodation. There was an article not too long ago, on the radio as well as in the media, in the newspapers, the printed word, where they were showing individuals who have been given their status, and in one case, one person was also given a sleeping bag. Serinda spoke about the lack of work and or where work is minimum when it comes to racial minority communities. I'm proud that one of the pieces of work we did last year, which was about self-employment and business development support, ended with 40 businesses being assisted and 11 new businesses being created, and the 11 new businesses creating 21 jobs. I think that is commendable for a team of 3 to have gone out there and have worked so sternly. The idea of just putting KPIs, I was told, was pretty cold. So Maria coerced me into putting case studies in. And so the latter part of your report is giving some feeling, some humanness to the dots that we've got on the previous pages. So we have 2 case studies which deals with discrimination, race discrimination. One which deals with the area of work which at that time was being undertaken through volunteers, and one specific volunteer, and it was about assistance into employment, education and volunteering, commonly known as a job club, but I prefer to call it what it actually is. And then the resettlement team, there's also the community development work that has been done in terms of the Racial Minority Voluntary Sector Assembly, and then we've put 2 other cases in around the work that's been done with the resettlement and integration team. We could have put in 2 cases around individuals who would experience some kind of problems in terms of integration and resettlement, but we thought we will show you that we do more than just that. And so the first case on page 12 was about preventing sanctions, and the next one was about challenging policy, because that's what we're about. If the policy doesn't work, and the policy is inappropriate, we'll make recommendations. And in some cases it works. And in this case it did. On page 14, we have an individual who was a dear friend of the race equality and a personal friend of mine. And so I needed him in this as recognition of the years of his involvement in this city, and as a tribute to a wonderful man.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Don't need that word.
I also felt it was appropriate to bring some human family life into this. And this is where I'm going to ask you the question. It's not actually in there. It's something I wanted you to be interested all the way through, and so this was a tease, okay? But there is a poem which I think actually epitomizes what we are about. I hope you will take this away and read it and digest it. And if there was going to be a question in there, it would be, how old was Myra Andrew when she died? I want the age in years and months and days. Actually, she was 86. 1 month and 20 days. Oh yeah, of course she was. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with the Race Equality Centre Annual Review.
Thank you.